Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Tackle Talk Live, and what a special show we've got for you today. I'm Ranger Dyer, Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean to my left. But today, you're going to get a special treat. The Hemphill Gang, another member of the Hemphill Gang. Part two of our series that we're doing. We just did Tommy Martin. If you hadn't watched that, make sure you go back and tune that in and watch it, because there's really some great stuff on there. And today, though, it's going to be Mr. Harold Allen, one of the other legends of the Hemphill Gang. We'll have him on. But first, while Kevin's getting him on, we're going to bring and talk about our one and only sponsor right now. And if you're looking to sponsor us, make sure you message me or Kevin on our Facebook page. But today's show is sponsored by The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat motor running and performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and home of the best motor on the market today, the Yamaha Show. Also, they carry the best aluminum boat on the market today, Sea Arc. Sea Arc. If you're not looking for Sea Arcs, go to the Boat Shop there in Shreveport at 2410 Sanford Avenue and let the Boat Shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com to learn more.
We get Mr. Harold Allen on right now. Or not?
Well, we're having once again, we're having some technical issues, but this time it's with the phone. And hopefully, real quick, I'm going to read you Mr. Harold Allen's little bio here. That out of 265, and this is a BASS, Bass Angler Sportsman Society bio, 265 tournament appearances. He had 15 classic appearances. Times in the money, 115 for 43%. So he just was an outstanding angler. He had over... Hey, what's up, Mr. Harold?
There he is.
He had 104 top 30 finishes in his BASS career, and just a tremendous angler, tremendous person, and a guy we are just tickled to death to have on, another member of the Hemphill Gang from Hemphill, Texas, Mr. Harold Allen. Harold, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Feels good you blowing my skirt up like that. I didn't even know anybody cared anymore.
Well, hey, I'm glad I can blow somebody's skirt up, so.
Miss Harold, I'm surprised you're not on the water today with a white perch guide trip.
Well, right now it's 57 degrees and the wind is out of the northeast and it's raining. After several years of fishing, several being the main word there, I'm not really mad at it, buddy. You know?
I understand, Miss Harold.
Well, Harold, tell us about your day back, before we actually get to the Hemphill Gang, tell us about how you got started bass fishing.
Well, it's probably like most anybody. It was a long process. My granny and my bachelor uncle, we used to go to the river every weekend, and we'd camp out. And
when you say the river, what river are we talking?
That was the Angelina River before Sam Rayburn was ever impounded.
Okay.
And, what we caught, we fished live bait, seine or bait most of the time. What we caught, we eat right there. And we had some left, we brought her home. But anyway, that kind of gave me the outdoor water bug. And, you gradually progress as you get older. And I kind of got into this bass fishing. And, man, I was on the dang lake every weekend. And this lady that owned the motel there in Broaders, Texas, said, look, why don't you guide for me? You're here anyway. So I started guiding for her for about a year and a half on weekends, and finally decided man, this is glorious life. We got to do this thing, So we started guiding full time on Rayburn in '70, and actually was just about to get burnt out. '75 and '76, we guided for hire over 300 days each of those 2 years.
Wow.
And Tommy Martin got me into all this tournament business. Dadgummit, we lived on the street. Yeah, we lived on the same street in Nacogdoches, and he kept on me. He was guiding on the weekends too, and he kept on me, man, you need to try this tournament fishing. You got to try this tournament fishing. You can make a good living tournament fishing, And about 70, 75, I fished one. 76, I fished a couple of them, and kind of got bit real hard, So we jumped off there in there 77 full time. And dang, made the classic first year we fished them,
Now, you probably helped y'all. I mean, Tommy's probably might help share cost and expense on traveling like that, wasn't he?
Yeah, several times we'd hook up and run together. My deal, usually I was guiding the night before I had to leave, and I'd give myself just enough time to get there and jump on the lake and get active, So several times when we could, we ran together, and other times like that, it was solo. So much tournament time is solo because everybody's got different schedules,
Mr. Harold, you said y'all lived on the same street in Nacogdoches, you and Mr. Tommy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Wow, that's impressive.
Yes.
So you started, 75, 76. When was your first year to actually fish the BASS circuit?
Then turn pro.
Well, the whole full year was 77.
77.
Yeah, we were down on, we guided out of Holly Park starting in 1970 on Toledo. And like I said, guided started in 77. And then in 75, I fished one tournament, one BASS tournament. Tommy had been on me. So the next year, 76, I fished two, and I don't even remember where they were now. But, I said, I think I can do this. In 77, I jumped off in it full time. 77 was the first year.
Now, what was the entry fees back then, Mr. Harold?
Probably $150, $200 tournament, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Harold, jumping into the Hemphill Gang here, and we heard from Mr. Tommy Martin on our show that Mr. Ray Scott is the one that gave you guys this nickname. So we've got a list here, and let us know if we're missing anybody on this list. But so for the Hemphill Gang, we have Tommy Martin, Larry Nixon, yourself, Harold Allen, John Torian, John Hall, and John Dean. Is there anybody on that list we're missing that was part of the actual Hemphill Gang? Now, we know there's a lot of the pros that came from that area from then, but the Hemphill Gang, in my understanding, is the guides on Toledo Bend that turned pro. Is that correct? That's correct.
Nobody that I know of in this whole area was fishing BASS but us, right around this group,
Right.
And, of course, there and being on Toledo Bend and Hemphill being our main mailing point for all of us, it's kind of a neat little deal. But yes, sir, we were pretty much exclusive to Toledo Bend here.
Well, Harold, do you think over your years and your training background in terms of Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn, do you feel like it gave you an advantage early in your career going to other lakes and other bodies of water?
Oh, absolutely. And the advantage it gave us was the fact that, these two lakes, you could catch fish every day, and you could catch them in a variety of ways, different baits, different waters, stuff like that. But mainly what it did is we were on the water so much that we were kind of clued in to what a bass does when he's given all kinds of different situations, high water, low water, moving water, still water, muddy water. I mean, we caught fish every day, and we were able to pattern fish. And if they moved, we knew why they moved. Was it a result of weather? Was it a result of pressure? Oh my gosh, yes! Just fishing every day on Toledo or Rayburn. Just your knowledge, you build your knowledge so much faster, and it's a hands-on knowledge. It's not something that you read about or something that you see on video, and then you got to go out there and perfect it. We lived it every day.
Right. How many times did say maybe you and Tommy and Larry and John Dean and John Hall, did y'all ever just sit down together or maybe go out fishing together and share techniques and wisdom with each other on how to be better anglers? Is that something y'all shared, or you kind of kept it under your own hat?
Well, we could call and figure out who was doing what. That wasn't a problem. But the only thing we shared really was a lot of cold beer,
Yeah. I figured that.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, Mr. Harold, and I know you still guide to this day. Have you ever taken a year off from guiding? I know you've taken some time off from tournament angling here and there, or missed some tournaments. But I mean, have you been guiding every year since 1970?
Pretty much. I moved to Mississippi for a short period of time, and I didn't guide over there. But once we got back on the lake, old customers found out about it. So, yeah, we started fishing again, quite a bit. The last 3 years, I've probably guided up there 80, 90, 100 days a year. I think we're fixing to kind of shut that deal down. You know, if we could get some of our folks over there that does radio interviews to come and kind of support us a little bit more, we might not even got that much, you know.
Well, you know, there are guys, you know, even today, some of my buddies that I fish against, we do share information, try to help each other out, especially if we're at a big tournament. And if one of us is doing good, we try to help the other one out. Did you learn anything, Mr. Harold, from say, Mr. Tommy or Larry, that you thought, man, I've got to be doing that. I'm missing the boat if I don't do this?
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, one of us would have a good tournament. You know, we'd leave an area and one of us have a good tournament. We always found out or knew what was working good. And, you know, you kind of put that in your memory bank. I mean, that's another part of learning. And, I mean, it's hands-on learning again. We were at the same lake fishing, the same conditions they were, but all of a sudden they found out something. You know, it might have been the second day of tournament they found it out. Or going into the last day, you know, it made a difference. But, yeah, after the tournament, so we pretty much visited and knew what each other had done.
Also, you're known as one of the best worm fishermen in the country. You've had that reputation for a long time. What is it about a worm for you that's been your kind of go-to technique over your career?
Well, guys, it was. I found out pretty quick when I started fishing bass tournaments. If you caught a limit every day, you were going to make the classic. And a plastic worm, you may not win, but you're going to catch fish every day on that thing. You know, you may have to do a small worm, a big worm, swim it, working on the bottom, crawl it, whatever you got to do. A worm is going to catch a fish every day, regardless of time of year, regardless of water conditions. It's probably the one bait that will always get you a bite. And you know, like I said, living on Rayburn and Toledo Bend, I mean, worm fishing was, you want to put some fish in the boat, man, you throw a worm all day long. And I just kind of, through the years, kind of perfected my own little way I do it. And it still makes money for me, guys.
Well, the other thing, one of the last questions I want to ask you, you've been a guide for a long, long time. Harold, there are a lot of guides out there. What advice do you offer to somebody that's maybe looking to go out with a guide? What should they expect today in 2020 from a guide in terms of, you know, a lot of guys are tournament guys. They want to hire Harold Allen so he can put them on their best spots, you know, and that's what a lot of them try to do. What do you think a person should look for in a guide when they're going out with one or looking to hire a guide?
Well, the first thing to do when you're going to hire a guide is you try to get a hold of one that's hardest to get a hold of. Because he's the one that's on the lake more. He's the one that's got the best reputation. Not only reputation, not only for catching fish, but also we're working with people. That's the first thing you're going to do when you hire a guide. You know, guys, there's boat drivers out there, and then there's guides. The hardest part of a guide's job, and I'm telling you, you know, I've been around both lakes, everywhere. The hardest part of a guide's job is figuring out how any one given day and time to figure out a way that his customers can catch fish or get bit. You know, I may be out there and I may have a spook bite like you wouldn't believe. But if a man can't throw and work a spook, I mean, what is it? What do you gain if you up there in front of the boat whacking them and you people in the back of the boat back there scratching their head? So
exactly.
You understand what I'm trying to say? That's part of being a guide.
Totally. You want your customers to catch fish because that's what's going to get them to come back.
Well, if I can get them on a worm and drag that worm through where I know that fish will live, every now and then one's going to choke it, whether they catch, you know, whether they feel him or not. You know?
That's true. That's true.
Now, Mr. Harold, I'm showing here on my notes, you had 15 classic appearances. Which one was your highest finish and what year was that?
81, Alabama River. I lost by 15 ounces.
No.
Yeah, it's, you know, several things, you know, we're on air and I'm going to air it out, okay? Several things happened during that classic that have since been changed. We had one of the contestants that was, he had the official practice days that we had was like 2 days, but his dad and his brother was in a boat at the same time practicing. So he kind of had double or triple the knowledge of anybody else of us there. And we had another little contestant run-in deal, which, you know, that was my early years. I was way too forgiving. Had it been today or tomorrow, I might be in the hospital after the deal, you know. But those two factors is the reason I lost that tournament.
Right.
You know, it's sad, but it is what it is, you know.
Yes,
through the years, I've kind of hardened a little bit on that kind of stuff. If I'd have been, and I'm trying to be honest with you, if I'd have been really, really aggressive in those early years, like a lot of guys are today out there on the tour, probably my career would, you know, maybe have at least 2 classic wins that I know of, maybe 3.
Now, we know in the 70s, and this is just coming off of our conversation with Mr. Tommy Martin, it was winner take all. In 1981, Mr. Harold, did you get anything for second, or was it still winner take all then?
No. At the time, we got a decent little amount of money for that. But you're right. Tommy is dead on. So many of these tournament organizations, Vass included, you know, they pile all that money on the top end just to show some big numbers, you know, show how impressive it is. But the sad part of that is, I mean, anywhere from 15th through 30th or 40th, they get the same amount of check, you know, which is, in my opinion, really, really bad, because beat a man 20 pounds in the tournament, he gets the same amount as you do. So, you know, that's always been a stickler in my mind. But, you know, it's their game. Unfortunately, if you want to play it, you got to play by their rules, you know.
Right.
Harold, one more thing, and we're going to let you go. Bass fishing today, are you happy with where it's at and where you think it's going? Is it in a good place right now?
You know, yes, I am, because many more people are able to do it. Now then, the equipment has come so far that the learning curve is really really short as compared to the old days. The only thing that really chaps me about bass fishing today is the on the water etiquette. You know, there's so many people want instant gratification, and rather than go out there and work and learn their equipment, how to use it, and try to figure out fish patterns and do all that, you know, they use the bent pole pattern. They use out there, and there's a guy with a white rod load up on one. You know, they take a seat from 100 yards away. And, you know, the etiquette part of it right now, we just did the Work the Classic, and I talked to 2 or 3 different organizations. I said, look, if there's anything that we can do to improve this sport, it's to teach etiquette to these college and these high school and these you know, these kids right now, because what I'm seeing, it is sickening.
Yes. Yeah, we will agree with you 100%. Kevin and I, both as tournament guys ourselves, we've seen a lot of the same stuff you've seen on the water, and you're on the water a lot more than we are as a guy, so I know you see it. So, but hopefully with the right education, and I think with the high school and the college, but more the high school, I think more people are getting involved. Tournament anglers are getting more involved to try to educate these young kids. It may take us 3 years, but I think within the next 3 years, I think we'll see a difference on the water with how they act.
Well, here's the point you need to address right now. You know, high school guys, they can't run that boat. All right? Their dad or their uncle or their friend is the one that's driving that boat. So, I mean, we got just as much responsibility working on that boat driver as we do the kid.
Right.
Yes,
you know?
you're right.
Right.
You're right.
Yeah, you're 100% correct on that, Mr. Harold. Mr. Harold, we sure appreciate it today. And like I said, we just wanted to kind of we're trying to go back through this Hemphill Gang and, you know, learn more about it and, you know, get all the insight and stories we can from it. And we sure appreciate you coming on with us today and telling us your story.
Well, hopefully one of these days I put me in the Hall of Fame and we'll be able to talk to you guys again.
Oh, I think that day's coming. Harold, we appreciate you again, and can't say thank you enough. And again, we're honored to get to have a person like you on our program, along with Tommy Martin, and hopefully we'll have Larry Nixon on next week. Maybe he'll have some good stories on you and Tommy, and that we can tell on the air anyway. So,
well, tell Tommy, you know, I'm still waiting to get in the boat with Larry. I'd like to bow up on Larry, but you know, tell Tommy that, you know, I can beat him worm fishing any day of the week.
Okay.
You know, I've proven that, but Larry's my next target, okay?
We'll pass that along.
Thank you, Miss Harold.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Guys.
Harold Allen.
See you.
Harold Allen, a tremendous angler, tremendous person.
He is, Steve. You know, and what Harold is known for, he's known for fishing, but he is known for being a guide.
Oh, yeah.
He is one of the best people to get in a boat with.
Yeah.
With his personality.
Right.
The way he treats people, the way he talks to people. He is just an awesome person on and off the water.
And my advice to people that are hiring guides, because I've hired some myself, especially at Lake Fork. One of my best friends, Johnny Geis, he's a great guide. When you get in a boat with Johnny, you learn something. He's going to teach you something. Whether it's about
or you have fun.
Are you going to have fun?
Right.
But you're going to learn something about your electronics. He's always in teaching mode. Maybe it's a technique that he's using over there at Lake Fork or wherever. But when you hire a guide, learn something from them, and not just expecting to put you on a hole, or a bunch of fish.
And a lot of people want to learn something, but they also just want to go enjoy fishing.
Yeah.
And two of the best people I know, Harold Allen and one of my best friends, Daryl Gleason, who I think have been two of the best guides on Toledo Bend,
right?
Because of their personality. You get in the boat with them, it might be one of the tough days on Toledo Bend. You might only catch 5 or 6 fish, but you're going to have a good time and you're going to enjoy yourself.
I actually went out with Daryl about a year ago, about this time, and it was mainly for an electronics lesson. And I'm telling you, I learned more about my electronics in 2 or 3 hours with Daryl Gleason in the boat with me than I learned on my own in 10 years. So if you want to cut your learning curve in half, that's what guides are for. That's what they do. They're going to help you shorten that learning curve, teach you about your electronics or a technique that maybe you're not very good at. So that's what guides are supposed to do. So when you do hire a guide, expect to learn something, get in the boat looking to learn something, not just necessarily catch a bunch of fish. I think with Daryl, we caught 5 or 6 fish in that 4-hour period, but I wasn't out there to catch fish. I was out there to learn. So,
and I know Mr. Harold's doing a lot of white perch guiding right now as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a lot of that. And his age, it's just a lot easier on him. And man, you catch the fry out of them right now also.
Right.
So
once again, we thank you for tuning us in. We can't say thanks enough. We appreciate you. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. Subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. And hopefully over the by next Monday on Tackle Talk Live, we're going to try to have Larry Nixon on, a third member of the old Hemphill Gang. That'll be a very entertaining show. Larry is great. When you get him on the phone, he's just a great interview. You'll learn a lot from Larry. He's got some great stories as well.
And we're learning a lot from all these stories, Steve. Larry Nixon and Tommy Martin and Harold Allen lived on the same street.
Yeah, we didn't know that.
In the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, both guys lived on the same street. So it's really intriguing to me to hear a lot of these stories. I look forward to Mr. Larry's stories because we're going to get some good ones there as well. And, man, these guys, and they're all still doing it, Steve.
Right.
In their upper 70s, almost 80 years old, they're still doing it for a living.
Oh, no doubt.
And that's what's impressive for me.
And hopefully with this show, we're having the best in the business on. Hopefully you'll learn more as you continue to be a better angler, but you got to tune in to Tackle Talk Live. Hello, here's this week's Tackle Talk Live tip of the week. Today we're going to talk about dipping dyes. That's right, dipping dyes. Great product. If you want to customize your baits, nothing better than Spike It Dip and Dye. They work great on everything. They have it for spinner baits. Spinner bait blades. You can actually take the blades and change colors with them, and they make red, orange, blue, black, chartreuse, white. They make every color that you could ever ask for to alter the color of your spinner baits. Here's one right here. I changed this one to the orange little Colorado blade on it for muddy water. Here's a white one, a little clearer water. Here's one for great rainy days. Double willow leaf, change both of them to white, and just works great. Also, if you want to customize your soft plastics, that's what people have known Spike It for years. Everybody wants to change the colors with their soft plastics by altering it. When you ask them, are you dipping it? What are you doing? Well, sure, I'm dipping it. But nobody asks really what color anymore because they just assume it's chartreuse. And here's the typical chartreuse. That's what everybody does. That's what everybody throws. Don't be afraid to change and to throw something a little different. Here's the blue. Now, this is watermelon worms with the blue tail. Here's a watermelon worm with their orange tail. And believe it or not, they can make a big difference in you getting more bites versus somebody else throwing the standard chartreuse. They see this all the time. Throw something a little bit different. It might help you catch more fish. Another thing they have that's another great product that I personally like, are their dye pens. I use the dye pens more than I do the dip and dye just because it's cleaner. It's easier for me. I put the pen in my pocket. But dip and dye, if you spill it in your boat, you got a mess. But there is a product that will take that mess out and you got to have it. It's called neutralizer. Make sure you buy a bottle of neutralizer if you have dip and dye in your boat, because it'll take that dip and dye color right out of your carpet and make it look like the day you bought it. So make sure you got neutralizer. Also, they have some pins that have 2 different colors on them. One's chartreuse on one end, one's orange on the other. They also make one for braid. If you have light colored braided line and you're fishing clear water and you want to make it darker, like black, or this here's moss green, you can take this. It's got a notch in the pin itself, and you can run your line through that notch and change that braid to whatever color you want it to be to make it darker. So try the Dip and Dye product line from Spike It. I think you'll like it. That's this week's Tackle Talk Live tip of the week.